Okay, recording has started. So everybody, please keep in mind you're being recorded. So first, thanks everybody for listening in, for attending. Appreciate your time. My name is Manny Hundrulis of EPD, and happy to present to you our guest speaker, Erik Pendleton of Rewired Technologies. And the reason why you're on this phone, or this webinar, I should say, is because Erik brings to you a turnkey solution for marketing 3M's brand new S2400 window film. It is a digital marketing solution, and Erik will certainly present himself and his plan. But before I turn it over to him, I want everybody to know that I've been working with Erik for over a year now. His company is called Rewired Technologies. Erik is a digital marketing expert specifically in the window film space, right? So that's his niche. So what's great about that is that when you're doing something with Erik, as opposed to just some sort of random digital marketing company, you don't have to explain window film. You don't have to explain who your market is or who your target is. You don't have to go over the basics with Erik because he lives and breathes it already. In fact, one of the things that impressed me most was when he approached me at a trade show for the first time to introduce himself. I couldn't believe how somebody, as an outsider to the window film world in a digital marketing capacity, I couldn't believe how much he understood about the industry in such a short period of time. So I knew instantly that Erik was somebody that I needed to listen to. And after listening to Erik and understanding his firm's capabilities, EPD has been using him now for a year, right? I mean, maybe it was a month after we met Erik, so closing in on a year, if not a full year already. And so, with S2400 being sort of this amazing new product that's really differentiated in the industry, that serves as a bridge between traditional security films and safety glazing systems like a defense light or a riot glass or any other type of glazing system. This film is absolutely amazing, but it's new and nobody knows about it. So Erik is going to present to you a turnkey solution for advertising this great new film to school safety administrators and retail safety and security consultants for the retail space for your particular markets. And again, because he knows the industry, it's turnkey. So without further ado, I will hand things over to Erik. I'm going to make you presenter, Erik, and let me know if well, let me see. How do I do that? Could have
I think I can
sworn.
share my screen as
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Thank
See if you can share your screen, Erik.
Yeah,
And then
thanks.
that makes you the presenter by default.
Can you guys see the visuals here?
Yes, it's coming in. Good.
Okay,
So take it
excellent.
away, Erik.
Thank you, Manny, for the glowing handoff. Guys, Erik with Rewired, pleasure to connect with you today. I'm sure some of you may be aware of us because I'm that pesky guy that's always in your inbox trying to tell you how we can help you sling more film with the digital marketing. But we have had the pleasure of working with Manny for roughly 13, 14 months now. But how we got started in this industry, ironically, was my neighbor across the street from me recommended our local 3M dealer down here in Sarasota, Florida, a gentleman named Angelo Ragone at NBI Sun Control. So didn't know what film was, but that was our initial indoctrination into being able to put film on a home or business. And fast forwarding 3 years later, we're the leading marketing provider or digital specialist when it comes to paid ads for our industry with a specific focus on flat glass. Most of the other agencies out there are predominantly focused on website or organic strategies and SEO elements. We're strictly focused on surgical strikes, as Manny likes to call it. And the vessel in which we will execute a surgical strike often is through social platforms like I'm going to show you today for S2400. And those social platforms being Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, to name a few. My team and I were, grassroots tech guys. We all worked together at a previous tech agency when we started this. So we're long in the tooth, although we all have baby faces except Vishu on the right there. It's awesome to see the success that we've had with window film dealers, and super excited to show you guys the new take on the S2400 Turnkey playbook here. Now, just 30-second elevator on the product. It's urethane, not polyester. Of course, more stretchable. It is that kind of bridge between the security films and the retrofitted glazing systems like the fence light, as Manny was alluding to. And it's the 24 mils thick, so it's a little easier to work with. Now, we have some awesome assets that 3M has provided us with to power this playbook. But what I'm going to do is take this time to educate you a little bit on how social ads work and show you how they can be tailored specifically to get you in front of the ideal security film buyers in your market, retail and school security. And by the way, I'm sure maybe some questions will come up during the chat here. If you don't mind holding on to those till the end, we'll do a full Q&A, and I'll happily answer all of those for you. Now, the big element to consider when you're talking flat glass or commercial and residential window film in general is the awareness level of it. Security film, there's a little bit of a stronger awareness level versus your solar films or decorative films comparatively. But the idea of putting security film on a school, there's a baseline for that given recent current events. The idea of it for a retail storefront, if you will, there's some familiarity there as well. But what we want to do is help a given 3M dealer own their territory and score as many high quality and qualified security film projects as possible. Now, this is different from residential window film campaigns or a playbook there, and of course, versus the other elements of our industry on the auto side. This is much more nuanced, much more specialized, and that's why this playbook we've tailored in direct connection with Manny and the EPD team, albeit turnkey, but also the nuances are pre-built into it for you. So that way it's a plug and play. We flip a switch and you have the most robust, well thought out and well architected strategy around to drive said security film accounts. Now, I want to do a little bit more like back and forth at the end and ask you, some of you, your level of understanding within social. But there are two predominant aspects or two differences when you're talking about leveraging Facebook to help you generate a lead or an account. There's organic social posting on your pages, and then there are targeted or sponsored ads. Targeted or sponsored ads, that's when you're proactively delivering messaging out to the ideal person or the ideal user in your audience. The old school days of Facebook was to post on your page and build a ton of followers to your page. So that way you had this really nice digital arm that you could, exercise and reach all of these people that were already brand loyal to you. They have completely reduced the impact that social posting has on the platforms. So now the pay to play model with paid or targeted sponsored ads and social, that's the cutting edge methodology behind it. In relation to how we start a campaign like this, the first thing you want to do is saturate and or own your MSA, your PMA for the given campaign objective here. So how do we do that? Imagine you've got a pie and that represents your area of execution with 3M. You don't want to target every single potential commercial prospect and say, hey, we do security film. What we want to do is we want to drill down and we want to find the right 10, 20,000 prospects within your total market that this makes the most sense to introduce S2400 to. And this is a proactive way to get in front of these prospects, which is a key point of delineation. If you're familiar with Google ads, Google is reactive. Somebody says, I need security film. You're coming in and you're winning a click there. This is us taking the bull by the horns and saying, I know these are the right prospects for this. Let's run an ad out to them. But how do we drill down on your market or your piece of pie here? How do we drill down and find the ideal clientele or the ideal prospects to generate engagement with? There's a number of different methods behind this. The first, which is the most spooky, is If you've got a smartphone or a tablet and you've got the Facebook app, the Instagram app, WhatsApp, or the Messenger app on your device, Zuckerberg knows exactly what you're doing. He's listening to you through your microphone. He's monitoring what you're Googling around. There are so many intrusive elements, not to creep you out, but there's a lot of intrusive elements to Facebook's behavioral based data that we can tap into to determine if somebody is actively looking into or has a need for S2400. So that's one effective method behind Facebook's user data. And remember, Facebook doesn't provide user data. They help advertisers like myself and you connect with end users on a product that might benefit them. So the other element is much more linear. It's a occupational based targeting strategy. We can target every single architect, GC, glass company, school resource officer, school superintendent, school principal in your market and deliver them an ad. We can do that in multiple platforms. So that's Facebook and Instagram. That's also LinkedIn as well, which is a hotbed for commercial prospects to have strong influence over when introducing the idea of security film to those given prospects. Now, the best part about this is we already have the content. We've just talked about how we would determine who to run an ad to in your market, to drill down and find the right 10, 20,000 users in your market to win relevance with. And we've got that content. And I'll take a span through some of the content here, but this is really good stuff. This is really engaging. 3M's done a really good job equipping the dealers with some good resources here. And take my word for it on that. We work with 3M, we work with SolarGuard and Eastman and GeoShield and a number of different brands out there. 3M does do a good job of taking care of their dealers from having an asset library at their disposal. And that's certainly amplified here with the S2400 playbook. But it's not just about the content. It's also about the structure in which how we put an ad together. As you'll see in this example here, and this is just this is a security film video that my team and I actually produced, but the ad copy and how we structure the ads is very crucial. And I wanted to just take a moment to show it to you. This isn't just about, hey, I'm James with Apex and we do security film. We're trying to resonate with the ideal users on this, but there's a science to how these ads are set up to allow for optimal performance. Always calling out your market is a good place to start. As you'll see with these green check marks, we're calling out Lakewood Ranch, Florida, in this example. That's our local dealer NBI. We're calling out that hotbed community that we want to talk about. Now, calling out the target market is definitely very helpful, but also looking at this from like the ad copy standpoint. Look at this and then imagine no emojis and all of this verbiage just compiled right together. It would be much harder to consume the content when you're scrolling your news feed or your Instagram reels, for instance. Nobody wants to read a paragraph or a paragraph form when determining if they're going to engage with an ad. The utilization of these emojis, albeit you might look at that and be like, what are these millennial guys doing? I don't want that all over my brand. There's a science to this. We want your ads, albeit they say sponsored at the top, but we want your ads to look as native to the platform as possible. So native meaning like it's a post from a friend or a page that you follow. That's tapping into how people used to engage in Facebook and marrying it with, hey, this is the modern way that we deliver ads to people, but let's make it look like how people were accustomed to engaging with it. So the utilization of emojis is a proven commodity to increase your click-through rate or your engagement. Then, of course, you have certain why-buy messaging. What separates that dealer? And then there's S2400 messaging built in as well. And then a call to action on this ad in this example, which is learn more. So a good ad in social has these key pillars of focus clearly defined. And us having a strong background in working with dealers on the flat glass or architectural side, we've had the ability to really, over a number of different accounts, split test and monitor different methods and different ways to drive engagement with these prospects. Now, and I don't want to lose anybody here that's newer to the digital marketing game. But on this slide, we're talking about Meta's AI prospecting technology. So the old school way in Facebook to run an ad was you build one ad with one image or video, one version of ad copy, and you run it, you see what happens, and then once you get some data, you adjust it. That's no longer how we do it. For S2400, what we would do is we'd build one campaign with all of the S2400 graphics and content or assets built in, and then multiple variations of these different forms of ad copy that we've split tested that we know perform the best. The reason this is so crucial is because this AI model called Advantage Plus, Manny is more likely to engage with certain ads versus me versus Jeffrey Lippitz and so on. Everybody has a unique preference, and Meta or Zuck knows your unique preference. So by using the same ad and running it as the same placement to everybody, you're basically kind of painting with broad strokes. The AI technology allows us to serve a unique experience to Manny versus me versus anybody else based off the user preference. So it's intelligent enough to know, oh, we need to use this asset with this version of ad copy and run it as this placement to Manny. Maybe it's for Manny, it's a Facebook newsfeed placement because, no offense, Manny, you're a little older than me. Or for me, maybe it's an Instagram reel that it's going to optimize for. So not only is this tailored with the messaging, not only do we know precisely the ideal way to build an audience to get you in front of the ideal demographics, but now imagine you have like a little meta elf constantly refining your strategies for you, an AI working all the time to ensure that every person you run an ad to is garnering a unique experience that's maximizing the ability for you to win their click or generate engagement. Nobody else is doing that for window film. I'm not saying, oh, there's no 3M dealers or whatever. The entire nation. Nobody is having conversations in Meta leveraging AI about putting film on windows for residential or commercial. So the fact that we have this amazing new product to leverage, sound new assets in a proven way in order to deliver the messaging and get it in front of the right audience is absolutely crucial. And here, I'll just kind of take you guys through a few of the expanded assets here so you can see what we're working with. Now, what we've talked about to this point here is the top of funnel approach. A funnel in marketing is, fat at the top, skinny at the bottom, like you'd put oil in your car with. So at the very top, you've got a wide swath here. Those are initial clickers coming to your website that you've generated engagement with, that not only are they saying, you know what, maybe security film is a need for my school or my business, but also I'm interested because Apex, their brand seems to be resonating with me. So we're not trying to just win accounts that are agnostic or not trying to win accounts that are 3M's accounts. We're trying to win accounts that are brand loyal to you, the dealer. And that's one key element that really separates you in running Meta versus like a Google strategy. Because if somebody knows what security film is, they know they need it, and they go, security film installers near me, they don't care about which installer is going to do it. They're just going to make calls and figure out who's got the quickest, on-site consultation, the quickest scheduling on that, or who's got the best price. So there's a number of elements at play here, but overwhelmingly, this surgical strike allows you to brand yourself as the go-to and allows you to have a ton of credibility with the given project manager, because you're the one introducing yourself and kind of pulling them into market, if you will. And then, just a couple other examples here for some of the assets. I really love this one with the hammer, showing the resistance and the give. I just feel like that is very striking, and it definitely grabs attention in social. Lastly, relating back to our funnel here, it's fat at the top, skinny at the bottom. Well, Erik, you told us how, somebody at the top is in their discovery phase. Well, how do we take that person from they're reaching out to us or they're inquiring to a customer? And that's established or conducted via what's called retargeting. So retargeting is a fancy way to say following up. Once somebody engages with your brand digitally, regardless of if they click the ad, they engage with your social business pages, or they just get to your site anyway. Once they engage digitally with your brand, we now have the ability with cookies to put a little sticker on that person. And now we can continue to follow up with them in Facebook and Instagram, showing them 10, 11, 12 plus additional ads on S2400 because that's what they engaged with. So if I was to recap that for you in like a 20-second elevator, we want to proactively deliver S2400 ads to the ideal prospects in your market, leveraging a few different methods. We want to drive engagement. We want to see who's engaging, people that are engaging but aren't becoming leads, we want to follow up with. So that way you have a sales engine constantly running. And this is an effective strategy that we're leveraging across the board for a number of satisfied dealers. We're up to 85-ish that we currently work with, and growing, which is amazing. And our team is growing, and it's a really exciting time. But and of course I'm biased, but if I was you and I was a dealer, the number one thing that you have to have with window film, because of the awareness of it, this isn't auto tint, this is window film. The number one thing you have to have is a method always transpiring, always working on your behalf, showing people in your market exactly the benefits of it, why to buy it from you, and why to consider it. Hopefully that was pretty good explanation. And if anybody has any questions, jump right in. I'm happy to answer them for you.
Well, let me kick us off a little bit. Let me ask the group here. While you're on social media, let's say you're on Instagram or let's say you're on Facebook, have you seen any videos with me in them?
I know I have.
Anyone?
Nope.
Okay. Well, and who was that? Was that Maria?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, great. So is there anybody on this line, and I would say probably maybe you, James, maybe you, Sean, but where the activity, your social media behavior would define you as somebody in the window film industry? And by that, I mean, maybe you follow the 3M films page, or you follow EPD's page, or you're part of some industry forums and things like that, right? So your behavior online gets noted by Facebook and Instagram as somebody in the film industry. And so me being at EPD, I want to target people like you to market my films, right? And to do that, a company like Erik helps me define the audience, right? Meaning you. He's got to help me find that audience. It's not like there's a little tick box within Facebook that says target people in the window film industry. It's not that easy. Erik actually has to create the audience based on my specifications. And then he creates the video content and the ad. And he puts that video content and ad in front of the targeted audience. So in this case, what he's saying is, okay, if we were to define the audience as being school principals, school administrators, school security directors, school superintendents, security directors of retail chains, CEOs of retail chains. And when I say retail chains, I mean CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, Target, brick and mortar stores where they have glass and they're worried that somebody may break in to steal things, or obviously for schools where you're worried about trying to prevent a school shooting, right? So what we're talking about here ultimately is this, turnkey served to you on a silver platter. All you need to do is just give the green light for Erik to market S2400 to school and retail decision makers that Facebook and Instagram target and know are affiliated with schools and retail accounts. Push these ads out to say, here's the latest and greatest film to help you prevent an unwanted school shooting. Or here's the latest and greatest film from 3M to help prevent smash and grab. That's what Erik's doing here. He's putting these ads in front of everybody. And when these people engage with the ad, Facebook and Instagram understand that and sends them another ad and another ad. And it follows them all over the internet. So ultimately, you, through Erik, are following them through the internet, hitting them with ads. So that let's say a school superintendent is just wanting to find out what's going on in the world. Let me go to CNN.com.
Mm-hmm.
Then they see an ad from you. So that's what this is all about. And the beauty of it is to say the ads have been created, the videos have been created, the audience has been created. You don't have to do anything except for basically pay Erik to do it and tell Erik how much you want to spend in your ad spend each month. So for example, I asked the question, if any of you see my ads, right now I do a lot of ads. You may not see them because they're kind of catered to the automotive part of our industry. So your social media behavior is probably not suggesting that you're an auto tinner, right? But I send a lot of ads, or Erik does. He sends a lot of ads on behalf of EPD geared toward auto tinners. So that's why I asked the question, if you've ever seen my ads. If you have, you've seen Erik's handiwork. But I can tell you, all these people that see EPD's ads on the automotive side, it's a ton of people that see them, and then they engage with us, and then they contact us, and that leads to business. So I know sometimes when we talk about digital, it gets a little bit confusing. You know, as Erik said, he's a millennial, and all this, talk can go over our heads. I know it goes over mine. The beauty of Erik is he kind of, breaks it down for me multiple times. So that's what this is all about, everyone, is selling S2400, which is a really unique film. It's an expensive film, which is great for all of us on the line. It's a really good film, which means it performs for the customer. It's new, so it's the latest and greatest, and people like latest and greatest. And everything is done for you. That's what we're presenting, or he's presenting to you today. So maybe in hearing it come from me and explained in a different way, are there any questions about what we're talking about here? Come on, lively bunch. You got to have some questions.
I can just work on my stand-up, guys. It's all good.
There you go. And Erik, you are pretty funny, but hey, we got to sell film at the end of the day.
Well, I was going to say, Manny, you've got this in stock too, right? Like there's a ton of volume to be done on S2400. And I don't think that's a fact that can be overlooked, right? I mean, you guys have the ability right now to say, imagine the perfect customer for me. I've got a magic wand. I'm Harry Potter. Poof, perfect customer up here. We can get you in front of them. We can show them the assets that we know are going to engage. We're going to make them brand loyal to you when they're ready to do security film, because you've given them that idea. You're the one they're going to do it with, because not only do they know they need security film now, but you're the one that's invested into winning psychologically their account. There's a tremendous number of benefits to it. And that's why, of course, we're leveraging security film accounts almost across the board for any flat glass dealer we're working with. But in particular, this S2400, this is a fantastic opportunity, because the groundwork of how to architect the campaigns, we've already got that. That's tried and true. The new assets, Manny's influence on this, all converging. There's a number of titans of industry that have mind shared to put this together.
Yeah, and I think a couple things, Erik. You said, first of all, everybody on the line knows that it's been very difficult to get sun control film manufactured by 3M, right? We've had back orders that, are just very hard to accept and understand with Prestige and Night Vision. S2400 and S800, we don't have any back orders, so we have it, right? So you know, this is a film that we have and we don't have to worry about when you actually need some material to install. Do we have it? Yes, we do. Um, the other part is to say, you know, S2400 is not a standard window film, right? It's not the next incremental step change from Ultra S800. We're not talking about Ultra 10 mil film. We're talking about um, um, a major improvement over Ultra S800, a film that sits between Ultra S800 and a defense light, right? And so I think you've got a lot of people that you've probably spoken to in the past with respect to school safety or with respect to retail security that have probably said, you know, I don't think that window film is going to provide me the level of protection I want. But they probably can't, they may not be able to afford something like a defense light or a riot glass. And I'm not picking on those products. Those are great products, right? And what these ads do is these ads communicate to the audience that this is not just a regular film. This is not just a thicker average Joe film. No, this is a film that, if you're a school safety administrator, bridges the gap, because many school safety administrators who have not installed film yet may think, you know what, film's not enough for me, but I can't afford a defense light, so they haven't done anything. They haven't installed anything because they don't want film, regular film, because they think they need more protection, and two, maybe they don't have the money for defense lights, so they've done nothing and the kids have gone unprotected. This is this potential solution for that, but they don't know about it. This ad campaign is just one of the many ways they can learn about it. So when you kind of digest all this information, what we're hoping you digest, or what I'm hoping you digest, it's a great way to get S2400 awareness out there to decision makers for schools and retail accounts. It's a great way to help them understand that this is not just an average, or this is not just another window film. This is really not window film at all. This is, the content's already been done for you. So if you were to tell Erik, I want to own my local market and I want to advertise S2400 to school safety administrators and retail accounts in my local market. Let's pick on Sean here in Williamsburg, Virginia. Erik, how long is it going to take you to mobilize?
Business week at most.
Business week at most. Yeah. You don't need access to their websites, do you?
We put one string of code on the site. So that's the only hang up, and then we get access to the existing Facebook business page. As quickly as we get those is as quick as you can launch. It's so that instant.
So a little code on the website, which their web designer can do for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. We give it to them. It's just a copy paste code on the site, and it's accepting one request in Facebook from Rewired, and instantly you've got S2400 ads.
So you just do a little bit of missionary, while you have somebody else, like your web designer, do a little bit of missionary work, 5 minutes worth of missionary work. Erik then Erik goes in, does what he needs to do, and before you know it, you're serving up ads in your local market. And you would tell Erik what your local market is. So like Sean, for example, you would say to Erik, hey, listen, Erik, I want to own this in Williamsburg. Boom, Erik's done. He just types up Williamsburg. He's got the audiences already crafted. We worked on them together. You put the code in the website, give them access to Facebook, and that's it. That's the beauty of this, guys.
Yep, and we can do the geofencing as well, Manny. So if there's like a downtown like business district with a ton of glass, a ton of storefronts, it's called geofencing. We drop a pin and we can draw a radius and hit all of the relevant job titles within that finite area. So that's an additional tactic that we can leverage to help you make sure that we're getting visibility with the right audience. But I'll go back to one thing. I don't know how many people on the call were at WFCT, but Gary Vee was the keynote speaker, and he said, you have an obligation, or you have a fiduciary responsibility to get in front of and win relevance with your ideal customers. All of those people live in social media. That's where they get their news. That's where they're spending their time. That's where they're engaging. This will blow your mind. What is your smartphone, like 6 inches, 5 inches? The average Facebook user will scroll 300 feet of their news feed every single day. That's 300 feet of real estate for you to introduce your brand to them and to stay relevant with them and psychologically worm your way in there and set up shop. And to compare and contrast, or for reference rather, but 300 feet is the height of the Statue of Liberty. So that's a tremendous amount of opportunity in one day to win relevance for your brand.
Any other questions? What are people's thoughts? Help us understand. We want to own, we 3M made this film as an empowering tool for all of you. And it's so important to get the message out there, making end users aware of this film, and this is, a digital way to do it. What is everybody's thoughts here? I mean, we haven't had one question yet. I'm getting nervous that I wasted Erik's time. Anybody? Gosh. Wow.
You guys know how to unmute, right? What do you got, Sean? We see you. You got something for us, Sean. Come on.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Sean.
You're muted, yeah.
Or your mic's not working. Yeah, still can't hear you. Feel free to type it in the chat window, Sean.
I was going to say, there's a chat function for you. Is James still in here?
No, I don't see James.
Oh, James is with Apex in Rochester, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're a client of ours.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that.
I mean, you have a lot of clients. I know you showed you mentioned that. So I know, for example, for our Clearview folks, feel free to run this past Tony, or have Tony call me or Tony call Erik if need be, because I know that Clearview's done an amazing job with school safety projects since Sandy Hook happened in 2012. And this is just really the next round as we see it, meaning, schools that were done years ago will probably want to revisit their windows with a new film. And that new film is S2400, right? First of all, the S800 is coming up on its warranty. Secondly, I think as schools have gotten smarter, I should say, or more informed, not smarter, more informed, they're wanting something a little bit more robust than a typical window film, and that's what the S2400 is. So I think you mentioned, Pam, you took notes to take to Tony, which is great. And Sean, you're looking for some budgetary pricing. So Erik, that's all you.
Yeah. So Sean, there's two elements to the pricing. We have our management fee, and then there's your ad spend. Your ad spend is what powers your campaigns. So to give you like a round number for an investment that would make sense, what I would do is pull a ton of data on your specific market after doing a little bit of discovery with you in relation to where customers come from or where we want to go after it. The audience size is what's going to lead us by the hand to recommend a budget. But the expectation on this, to give you a round number, is like you would expect to spend $3,000 plus to do this appropriately on a monthly clip.
So repeat that again, Erik.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just for everybody else, please.
Yep. So based off of how robust your market is, okay, if you're going to run ads for Hattiesburg, Mississippi, or New York, there's a very different level of ideal prospects that you can target with an ad. So it's hard to give an exact round number based off without knowing like how much spend we would really need to leverage in order to own your market. But the expectation would be minimally that you'll be spending 2,500 to 3K or more, depending on your market size on a monthly clip. And that's everything baked into one fee for you.
So that includes your fee and the ad spend.
Correct. Yes, exactly.
Okay, so does everybody understand? You're paying Erik to do this, obviously, but part of that money, and a lot of that money actually,
most
is
of it is going to Facebook.
So there you go. Most of it is actually going to Facebook and Instagram, not to Erik.
Yeah.
And what Erik is saying is, a lot of times it's market based. So marketing in New York City and moving the needle in New York City will cost you more money than moving the needle in Williamsburg, Virginia, let's say, or Hattiesburg, Mississippi. The smaller the market, the less the spend. So I think, Erik,
Yeah.
are you giving that budget for, large size markets? What is that?
That's a moderate sized market. Our fee is $750, right? So that's our management fee for just this S2400 social strategy. That's a preferred rate for EPD dealers only. So our fee is $750. The remaining, $2,000, $2,250 plus that you would spend would be in fueling the campaigns to pay Zuckerberg for the clicks and the visibility. And that your ad spend could, depending, your ad spend could be $1,500, and that's ample, ammunition to go to battle with for your market. Or we could pull data on your market and see that your market would really sustain much more ad spend before reaching a point of diminishing return. So it's always tailored based off the market. So it might be a $3K investment for one person, a $2,500 investment for somebody else, or a $5,000 investment for, a different market that's more robust.
Are there any contracts? Are there any obligations? Do you redo the ads if you see things aren't going what as expected? What do you do, Erik?
Yeah, it's a fully managed service. We provide updates and reports and refinements every step along the way. We don't work on contracts. That's one really unique thing about us, and it's why we started Rewired, was to get out of the big bureaucratic, like everything's a line item and everything's an annual deal. We did away with all of that at Rewired. We month to month work with us as we perform, as you guys need the lead flow. We're there for you strategically through either the quote busy or slow season, and we don't bill anything as far as setup or anything like that. Once you have a chance to give us the thumbs up that you're ready to launch is when your initial billing would take place.
Great. Any other questions before we wrap it up?
No, thank you very much.
Well, thanks everybody for listening in. Again, I sing praises to Erik. The benefit EPD gets is that he helps you sell film, which you then buy from us. And because we use him, we also know that he's very effective. So that's why, I wanted to make sure that Erik had an opportunity to present to our dealers. And we're making the same presentation tomorrow at 3:00, as the email says. When all is said and done, people are not going to know that S2400 exists until you market it to them. And this is the digital play. So when you're thinking about going to your next trade show and demonstrating S2400 to all attendees, that's great. That's face-to-face. That's important. But there's a digital aspect too. And the digital aspect is what kind of Erik has for you on a silver platter. So do me a favor, Erik, put your contact info up one last time, if you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take a screenshot of this, everybody, or take a picture with your cell phone, just so you have Erik's contact information. If you end up losing it, let me know and I'll connect you to Erik. This was recorded as a reminder, so we'll make the recording available so you can listen to it. But I want to thank everybody, and look, I hope you see I hope you see value in this, because S2400 is an important film. It's differentiated. It solves problems that we have today in schools and in retail. So the time is right. The time is right. We just got to get the word out there. Okay. Erik, anything else you want to say?
No, I was just going to say, if you guys want to see it in action, in the chat, I'm going to drop this link in right here. And if you want to just like real life demo.
Yeah, do a
Visit-
demo real fast. I think it's hard for people to visualize sometimes what it is you're actually selling. So yeah, do a demo if you want. I think we lost him. I think he hit the wrong button. There he is.
Hey, sorry, I got kicked out there. I meant to click chat. So here's how you guys can troubleshoot how it works. I just put a link in the chat there to our window film industry landing page. If everybody in there clicks on that, give it until a couple hours. Start scrolling your Facebook and Instagram feeds. You are going to see my face pop up. That's retargeting. All right, because I'm tracking the people coming to my site. If they're visiting the window film industry page, I know they're a potential dealer that might be interested in our services, and I have tailored content there to follow up. That is a real life demo that you can troubleshoot and have it take place in your news feed today to see the power of how this works. And I've had many funny anecdotes where whatever, but like one gentleman told me he couldn't do a number 2 in the morning without seeing my face in his newsfeed.
Oh my God.
So that's the true power of how it works. And if you follow that link, you'll see for yourself. And then you'll probably hit me up and be begging me to stop serving you ads. So it's okay.
Well, thank you, Erik. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. Appreciate your patience. And again, if you want more information, reach out to Erik directly. If you need to be put in touch with him, just send me a note and I'll get you in touch. Okay?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.